What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've had our very first ever Keyforge Grand Championships over in Germany, which means we have our very first ever Grand Championship winning deck. And like we tend to do when decks win big tournaments, I thought we should have a look at it. Now, this is a German deck that was not registered on the website, which made it kind of difficult to track down. So I want to say a huge thank you to a bunch of people that got in touch: Ludovic Orban, Brett Pendragon, Rachel Trimble, and a couple others. Thank you so much to everyone that got in touch. It's actually been put up for sale on eBay, so if you want to go ahead and spend about €300, you can have this deck to yourself. But is it actually any good? Two things we need to point out before we get rolling on this video. Number one, it was a sealed tournament. Sealed tournament means you will not have the ridiculous decks that you get in Archon tournaments, because you don't get the opportunity to spend months finding your best deck and taking it along. Secondly, this was an adaptive tournament. That is that every round was played, play a game, swap decks, and then for the third game you bid chains. What that means is we don't actually know how many games this deck won. It is absolutely possible that the winning player actually lost every game with his deck and won 2 out of 3 games of his opponent's deck. Okay, I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. That would be weird, but it is eminently possible. So with that borne in mind, let's have a gander at, and it's a German name, Wrestlerin Supernova Yarborough, a Brobnar logo Sanctum deck. And even though my German isn't perfect, they've numbered the cards, so we know what the cards are. Cool. So starting off in Brobnar then, we have a single copy of 1-2 Punch. You stun an enemy creature. If it was already stunned, you destroy them instead. Now, worth pointing out here, we've also got Tremor, stun a creature and each of its neighbors. So there's a little bit of stunning going on here, which is, it's going to help, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen. There's a little bit of stunning. As well as stunning, we've got a bunch of cheeky damage in Brobnar here. Bingle Bang Bang, 2-power creature. Before the fight, deal 5 damage to each neighbor of the creature that Bingle Bang Bang fights. Okay, you're a 2-power creature. You're probably going to lose the fight you start, or at least get destroyed. But you'll still deal 5 damage to each neighbor, so you're going to be alright. And worth noting, there are actually 2 Bingle Bang Bang in the deck. We have got Bramo, a more powerful creature, 4 power, 1 armor, and when you play it, you deal 2 damage to each enemy flank creature. So this isn't the kind of cheeky damage where you can really put it wherever you want. It's far more awkward. Sorry about that. But the fact of the matter is, we've still got a bunch of options for cheeky damage. You've just got to be a little bit more careful about where you actually put them. Now, the good news is that we do actually have an artifact here, which is far better at providing, let's say, directed cheeky damage, and it is actually a legacy card. It is Mighty Javelin. It is an artifact that gives you an amber bonus, and it's got an Omni ability whereby you sacrifice it and deal 4 damage to a creature. So you can target your damage a little bit better there. Now, we do actually have 2 copies here of Coward's End. So if you're not feeling in the mood for trying to get people with cheeky damage, this is just a board wipe, a proper job, full-on board wipe. Destroy each undamaged creature and gain 3 chains. So maybe don't do the cheeky damage, just destroy everyone with Coward's End. Please do remember, it is each undamaged creature, not each enemy undamaged creature. Drummernaught is a 6-power creature with that great ability whereby when you play or fight or reap, you return a friendly giant creature to your hand. Remember that Bramo is a giant and has a really good playability. I think most of the time that's probably going to be your target here. We have a copy of Foozle. If an enemy creature has been destroyed this turn, you gain an extra amber when you reap. Plus 5 power's nothing to sniff at. It says destroyed, not destroyed while fighting. So there's going to be some extra amber rolling around, and you need it because, well, Brobnar's not great at grabbing amber. They do have big creatures though, like Lollop the Titanic. It's an 11 power creature, and it deals no damage when attacked, but it deals damage when it's attacking. We've then got one copy of Might Makes Right. Now, Might Makes Right is a great card. It gives you an amber bonus. You may sacrifice any number of creatures with total power of 25 or more. If you do, forge a key at no cost. Well, you've got your 6 power Drummernaught, your 5 power Foozle, your 4 power Bramo, but you've got your 11 power Lollop the Titanic. That gets you almost halfway there. Also worth pointing out here that doing this to get rid of your creatures and then playing a Coward's End would be hilarious. Moving into logos, we've got a bunch of archiving, starting off with Archimedes. It is a 2 power creature with elusive that gives each of its neighbours destroyed. Archive this creature. Yeah, that's going to help. Put it down next to a creature that you want to use again, like Bramo, and then it gets archived when it's destroyed instead. But we've got some others. We've got Lab Work here. When you play it, you archive a card while getting an amber bonus. And we've also got a copy of Memory Chip. When you choose logos as your active house, you archive a card. So you can work up some really good archiving here, and it's very specific archiving. You are choosing what you archive. That's really nice. The other thing that really stands out to me in logos here are 2 copies of Wild Wormhole. Gives you an amber bonus, and it's got a play skill whereby you play the top card of your deck. So you play Wild Wormhole, get the amber, and then you get to play the top card of your deck as well. It could be house cheating. Either way, it lets you play cards that aren't in your hand. Having 2 of them is wonderful. Speaking of 2, we got 2 copies of Brain Eater. It's a 6 power creature, quite good for Might Makes Right, and after a creature is destroyed fighting Brain Eater, you draw a card. And we've got a bit of extra draw here with Phyla the Researcher, so that's going to help rather nicely indeed. Phyla's not great, you draw a card when you play a creature next to her. It's better than nothing. I also adore that we've got Interdimensional Graft here. Interdimensional Graft gives you an amber bonus, and if your opponent forges a key on their next turn, they must give you their remaining amber. But during your turn, you know if they're going to forge a key or not, and you know how much amber they're going to have left over, and the very first thing they have to do on their turn is forge a key if they're able to do so. So there really is no downside to playing this. Worst case scenario, you get an amber. Best case scenario, you go, oh, my opponent's got 10 amber, they have to forge, they're going to forge at 6. Brilliant. I'm getting the rest of it here. Nice. We've also got 2 copies of Jargoggle. Now, Jargoggle isn't necessarily archiving, but it basically does the same thing. It's a 2 power creature with elusive, and when you play it, you put a card from your hand face down under Jargoggle. And then when Jargoggle is destroyed, if it's your turn, you play it, otherwise you archive it. I.e., if it's destroyed on your turn, you play it immediately, that's your choice. If it's destroyed on your opponent's turn, you archive it and don't have to play it immediately. Very much the same kind of thing as archiving, deciding to put a card aside to use later. And then, of course, Neutron Shark do. 1 power creature. When you play or fight or reap, you destroy an enemy creature or artifact and a friendly creature or artifact. Then you discard the top card of your deck, and if it's not a logos card, you do it all over again. A fantastically disruptive card, which can wreck your opponent's board and can wreck your own board. I absolutely love it. Now, moving into Sanctum, the best thing we've got with Sanctum here is we've got a bunch of capturing. Obey the Grim, when you play it, you capture 3 amber, and then every time you reap, you discard an amber from it. Because remember, if your opponent destroys a creature with amber on, they get the amber. Obeyed captures it, and then goes about reaping to stop your opponent getting it back. Plus, it's got 4 power, 1 armor, and we've got ways to increase both of those stats. Yeah, that's looking pretty gosh darn good. But even that pales in comparison to Sir Marrow's. After your opponent gains amber by reaping, Sir Marrow's captures it all. Tell me that's not amazing. Of course it's amazing. I love that card. I absolutely love it. We've also got Take Hostages, an action card that gives you an amber bonus, and for the remainder of the turn, each time a friendly creature fights, it captures an amber. Just really nice capturing here. But I said we've got ways to increase stats, and we absolutely do. Lion Belgium is a 4 power, 1 armor creature with deploy. You can play it anywhere in your battle line. It doesn't need to be on the flank. And it gives both creatures, i.e. the creatures either side of it, plus 2 power. So, pop it down next to an Obeyed the Grim to make it less likely your opponent's going to have their amber back. But if you want to boost the armor instead, might I introduce you to Abond the Armorsmith, or Abond der Ruschmeid. I'm not going to do most of the German names for fairly obvious reasons. It is a creature with 3 power and no armor, but it gives all the other friendly creatures an extra armor. And it has an action that says for the rest of the turn, your other friendly creatures get another armor. Yeah, that's quite nice, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty gosh darn nice. Oh yeah, and you got 3 copies of Golden Aura. When you play it, you choose a creature, fully heal it, and for the remainder of the turn, it is in House Sanctum and cannot be dealt damage. I don't know, let's just say, off the top of my head, Lollop the Titanic. You got 3 Golden Aura in a deck with Lollop the Titanic, which means that on every Sanctum turn, or at least every turn you can draw one of these, you've got an 11 power creature that cannot be dealt damage back. And you're healing it every time. That's phenomenal, and I love it. It's my favourite combo in the deck. And then the rest of the Sanctum cards have got 1 copy of Smite, ready and fight with a friendly creature, deal 2 damage to each of its neighbours, building on the cheeky damage we saw in Brobnar. We've got the Grey Rider, a 2 power creature with deploy. When you play, fight, or reap, you may ready and fight with a neighbouring creature. Yeah. If you've already used Golden Aura on Lollop the Titanic, this does allow you to ready and fight with a neighbouring creature. It's got deploy, you can put it down next to Lollop. So you can essentially play Golden Aura, make Lollop into an invincible Sanctum creature, fight with it, it's exhausted, then use Grey Rider to get him going and do it again. That's pretty cool. We've got Hadron's Wall, which gives each flank creature plus 2 power on your side. Works nicely with what we were doing with Lion Beltram. And then finally, the Harder They Come lets you purge a creature with power 5 or higher. It's not always going to be perfect, but if your opponent's got something like their own Lollop that's causing you trouble, just drop this. Job done, ladies and gentlemen. Job done. I like this deck. This is a very good deck. The fact that it was sealed and the fact that it's adaptive do give me pause for thought. But looking through this deck, we've got a bunch of capturing, no stealing, but a bunch of capturing, a bunch of cheeky damage, some big creatures, and a key cheating card, along with a couple wild wormhole and a bunch of archiving, a little bit of draw power as well. This is a very nice deck, and one that I'd be very happy to open up in a sealed tournament. But I would like to know what you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about games, and do consider patreon.com/PTCGradio. That's, if you want to support the channel, that's where you can go, and there's bonus podcasts, and you can ask me questions, and it's all good fun. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.